Hello, hello. This is Gayon here in the West Coast. So today I want to talk about how to pass your college courses. So I am currently a student in a master's program, and so far I've been able to maintain A's in my master program. Now the master's program is a bit more tricky because you can't score below at least in my school here, the program I'm in, the lowest you can score grade you can get in your class is a B minus. They won't even accept a C. So I just want to quickly share a tip for you, some tips that I know that works to help me maintain an A, or you don't have to be an A student. That's not what this is about. But I'm just sharing some tips on how you can pass your courses at the college level. So let me just show you quickly. So if I go, so this is Canvas. This is the platform we use for online learning. So the classes I'm taking are online courses. So I don't physically go to a classroom. It's all done online. And so so let's just go into this course here, school safety, which is the course I just completed last week. So I want to show you some tips. So in the school that I'm attending, the way that the curriculum take place is every week we have discussions and we have assignments. Okay, and we're graded on our discussions and our assignments. Okay. So let's just go. So how do I you know score, make A's, or do well in my courses? So let's go to discussions for this, just to give an example. So each class I take, they're 8 weeks long. Okay, they're all 8 weeks. So what do I do? So let's just look at, for instance, let's look here at a discussion for week 3. So, and for this course here, the way the course is percentage-wise, this discussion lessons typically have less points than assignments. So for instance, let's say this is a graded discussion, you get 5 points possible. So discussion questions will be 5 points, assignments will be 10 points or more typically. So what do I do to make sure I get all 5 points, score a high point? So all I do is I look at the discussion, I look at what the requirements are. What are they asking? So here we go. So review, it tells you what to review for the week. And so typically discussions are you have to respond to a question, right? So it tells response to the following. Review the crisis response plan at your practicum location, which is your school location. What plans or strategies could be added to enhance the effectiveness of response plan? So basically you're answering that bullet point there. So what do I do? So let's go down. So I'm going to show you what I posted. So here in your in Canvas, once you go to discussion, you can see what all the classmates have posted. Okay. So I'm scrolling down, I'm looking for my post so I can show you what I do. So here I responded to a classmate because to get your full 5 points, you have to post your discussion, the answer to your discussion to get your credit. And second, we have to respond to 2 of our classmates. So basically, we're just looking at our classmates' posts and responding, give them feedback. So to get your 5 points, here is says one person I responded to. So you just gotta make sure you respond to 2 people in your course. Here's another person I responded to. So I responded to 2 classmates that did that. And then I then go down to my post and I'll show you what I posted. So what I typically do to make sure I get all my points is I make sure that I'm addressing the question thoroughly. So for instance, here's my post. So what I do, I highlight the question. So this is what the discussion requirement is. Review the crisis response, and then what plans or strategies could be enhanced. So I make sure I put down the question as stated in the discussion. I bold that, and then I make sure I respond to it. So for instance, if there's 3 questions for this discussion, I'm gonna have the first question, I'm gonna bold that question, then I'm gonna list the other question bolded and respond to it. So basically I make it very thorough, and plus in addition to that, you have to give your references. So if you give your references and the professor see you answered the question and you responded to 2 classmates, boom, you got your 5 points. So I got my 5 points there. So I got all credit for that discussion. Now let me go to assignments. Now assignments, again, assignments are going to be typically worth more points. So as shown here, this is week 8 because I just completed this course here. Let's go. So you can see, like, for instance, it said 10 out of 10. Some discussion, 5 out of 5. So the assignments are, you know, as I stated, 10 out of 10. So they're usually about 10 points or more for each assignment. So assignments are worth more than discussion. So let's just look at, for instance, assignment for week 2. I got 10 out of 10. So what I do is I look at the assignment, I read everything it says. You know, consider the following, identify the following during your interview. So this particular assignment was asking me to interview a school counselor, and I had to address each of these questions here, and then you respond to it. So when you do, so what I typically do is I always to submit your assignment, it needs to be in a Word document. So I go to a Word document and I make sure that these questions and everything that's asked here of me is in my assignment. So if I make sure that every question is addressed and all the requirements are met, I'm gonna get my 10 points. And so this particular question, this particular assignment, I got 10 points total. So I got all my 10 points. Okay, let me go back to assignments. And there's something else I wanted to show you. So you just want to make sure that you are meeting all of the requirements of that assignment. Okay, let's look at this one here. So for week 2, we had 2 assignments due, and we had 1 discussion. So let's go to the other assignment. This one I also got 10 out of 10. So what did I do here? So what I wanted to point out to you is some of the assignments are going to have what they call here a rubric. A rubric basically tells you how to break down the points for your assignment. So in this assignment here, write a 1-page summary of the article. So I needed to find an article and then make sure in my article that these questions here are addressed. So I find an article, I do a summary, a review on the article, and I make sure that in my review, these questions are addressed. So you do that first. And then the most important thing is I always, before I write my paper, I look at the rubric. This is what the expectations are to get your 10 points. So it tells you 2.5 points. Candidate in evidence, clear comprehension of the article and articulated a thoughtful response. You get 2.5 points for that. Summary of article, knowledge, understanding, summarize the main ideas, facts in the article, and you can see you get 2.5 points here. All main ideas and facts from the article are included. Summary is presented in objective view and referencing to the article. And another 2.5 points, highlighted main points of article. So continue down, the conclusion, make sure you have a conclusion. Personal comments are clearly stated. So the rubric is your guide on how to get your full 10 points. So typically what I do, I review my rubric first before I write my article to make sure I'm touching on every single one, to make sure I'm getting on every single section of here, that my paper is covering every section. So if I do the first column here, 2.5, 2.5, I'm gonna get the full 10 points. The next column over here, so it's gonna say, so 2 points or 1.5 points or 1 point or 0 points. So it gives you a guide on the points, how the professor is gonna grade your paper. You're only gonna get 2 points if you did this part here. So you're not, fully addressing each section here. So you're gonna get less points as you go across. So I typically focus on the first column where you're going to get the most points, and I make sure that my paper addresses meet each of these criteria for each section. And if you follow the rubric as your guide, that's going to more likely I discovered that through experience, because I've been in this program here for a year. And at first I wasn't really paying attention to the rubric, but then I started to follow the rubric. And the professors that sometimes in class that will tell you, make sure you take a look at the rubric and make sure if you follow the guide of the rubric, you'll get your full points. So that's my secret is I follow the rubric, the criteria in the rubric, and I make sure that my papers have met each criteria in the rubric to assure that I get my full 10 points. So for assignments, that's what I do. Not all assignments are going to have rubric, but I always scroll down to see if there is a rubric. If there's a rubric, it's going to be towards the end of your assignment. So that's it. So if there's no rubric, then the bottom line is you're looking at what the requirement is of the paper, and you make sure that your paper addresses every requirement. And that's going to pretty much 100% of the time for me, it works. It assures that I'm going to get the full points from my assignment. So that's it. So you're basically, as long as you're following instructions, you're following your discussion questions, you make sure you're addressing every question in your discussion. You make sure that you're meeting all the criteria requirements for your paper, for your assignments. And that's going to pretty much assure you that you're going to, get your full credits for your course. And again, we have a weekly discussion, we have weekly assignments. And so I just follow everything. I make sure that all requirements are met. And if there is a rubric, I follow the criteria of the rubric as I'm writing my paper to make sure I'm meeting every criteria on the rubric. And that's it. So I hope that helps, and good luck in your as a college student. Just follow instructions, follow the criteria, and you're going to be in good hands. That's it. Have a wonderful day.